Hi everybody, welcome to my channel, Radiating Beauty with myself, Denise. That's me. I'm Denise. How lovely to see you all this week. I just really feel very excited about this video because it is one of those first ever videos. And what are we talking about? We're talking about the first ever foyer into the indie makeup brand. And I did a lot of research, and then this one just came at the right time. The right color story just looked amazing. Something that really drew my attention, and I couldn't resist. So we're going to try out the Nomad Ghost Town USA eyeshadow palette that I finally just received 2 days ago in the mail. I'm so excited because I really just feel that makeup is trending towards those indie brands, which are those individually owned makeup brands that really kind of can really customize and specialize and put those quality ingredients into their makeup products much faster than the much larger cosmetic brands. And I just feel that's kind of where the quality of eyeshadow palettes is kind of trending in that direction. And I also wanted to know, does it really work for the 45 plus working gal that works hard for her money, just like I know you do? So if you're interested in seeing the look I create, the eyeshadow palette, and my final sort of first impressions, then just keep watching this video. And if you don't know, eyeshadow palettes, they're just my thing. So anyways, click that like button if you like this kind of content and think about joining the Radiating Beauty family. I will not inundate you with videos because I upload about once a week. So let's get into this palette. Okay, so this has 18 eyeshadows. It is just gorgeous. And can we just talk a little bit about the packaging? So you're going to get kind of all sorts of lights reflecting off this. But this packaging is so cool. It really brings me back to my youth because of this lenticular screen that is on the front that gives us these two opposing points of view. So we have the ghost town, and then we have Nomad, which I believe is actually Deadwood. And but it could represent really any ghost town anywhere in the world, you know. So you can see that it is lively, and there is the citizens of Deadwood, and then of course you flick it up, and now you truly have the ghost town USA with the dead sheriff there. So anyways, I thought that lenticular image was really, really cool, and I love the weight of this kind of cardboard packaging. I was a little worried when it came because it just came in like one of those air flyer sort of envelopes, and I was like, oh no, it's going to be completely shattered. It was not. You have a beautiful big mirror on top, which is lovely, and then you have these amazing shadows. So can we just sort of like look at these shadows for a minute, because this is truly, I have to put it in front of my face because it's that big, but these are the colors that really inspired me to actually get this palette itself. So it has, like I said, 18 shadows in total. You have a line of shimmers, then you have mattes, followed by shimmers, followed by mattes. And it kind of divides right in the middle where you kind of have all of these sort of warm, sort of golden tone shades. And then on this side, you have the cooler, sort of cool and silver tone shades. Just like in a real ghost town, when it was thriving at one point, you had gold and silver. And now you just have ghosts. I could see like some really colorful looks, and I could also see some very polished and beautiful neutrals. So anyways, I just thought absolutely gorgeous. I just like the names of some of them, like Gold Rush, Ghost Town, Stagecoach Mary, Calico, California, Smoky Quartz, Arrested Decay, Dead Man's Hand, Calamity Jane. Like, what a character. And Stagecoach Mary. I mean, like, I have basically done my basic makeup, eyebrows. Of course, you know, for me, it's the boyfriend eyebrow. I just kind of like little pencil them in and lock them in place with a clear gel. I am really, really leaning towards these greens. I just think they're incredible. So I'm going to take this one right here, because if you know me, you know I love greens. I'm going to take this one here called Ghost Town, and I'm just going to take that on this nice blending brush here. There's like no fallout whatsoever, so that's really incredible. And then I'm just going to take it and I'm just going to put that right in the crease area right here. So beautiful. I've heard nothing but amazing things about Nomad Cosmetics and their actual mats. And oh, this feels just incredibly smooth and luxurious. And indeed, it is quite pigmented. Now, again, the ring light makes it look like it's like almost like a lime green, but I assure you in the pan, this is truly almost like a sage green. So really, really, really pretty sort of like sage color, which is just perfect. I had purchased this palette and was waiting for it and then followed the tracking all the way through. I was really excited when it finally came 2 days later, but it started me thinking about like the history of the Wild Wild West and Deadwood, and I believe that's in California, is it? Oh no, sorry, it's in South Dakota, and just kind of like the lawlessness and kind of, how crazy the Wild Wild West was. And in particular, Calamity Jane and Stagecoach Mary. Now, if you don't know much about Calamity Jane, she was quite the lady back in the day because I believe she got her name Calamity Jane because she ran in to help some kind of soldier, I believe, that was getting picked on by a bunch of bandits. That's kind of like where potentially she got the name, but nobody knows for certain. But she was like quite the lady because she didn't like wearing dresses. She preferred to wear men's clothes, men's pants. She was a beer guzzling, tobacco spitting, and a sharpshooter, and was just quite the lady, but apparently had a really, really kind heart. So I just kind of loved hearing stories about that and looking up like old Wild Wild West pictures of Calamity Jane, because she certainly wouldn't fit in to the regular, sort of image of what even a prairie woman would look like back in the day. And then the other one was Stagecoach Mary. Now that was an incredible, think back, we're talking late 1800s to the early 1900s, and Stagecoach Mary was the first black woman to work for the U.S. Postal Service for some of their star routes. And she was given the name Stagecoach Mary. Her name, I believe, is Mary Fields, because she would deliver the mail on these bitted routes in a stagecoach until, of course, it was either too much snow or too much mud, and basically fought off like thieves and bandits. She would carry like a .38 Smith & Wesson underneath her big dress that she wore to ward off wolves and thieves, and I mean, just an incredible, and she never missed delivering the mail. So sometimes when the mud and the snow was too deep and the stagecoach couldn't get through that route, she would just huck that mail on her back and she would go through. And she was a very, very beloved person. And she started that job like in her 60s and retired when she was 71. So, I mean, Stagecoach Mary, Calamity Jane, I mean, just really cool. But you think of all the kind of ghost towns, then I was kind of thinking of Wyatt Earp and Billy the Kid and all of those characters. I just thought that was really, really fun to kind of remember some of those more historical characters from the Old West. The next color that I'm going to use here is, of course, this green, which is now Stagecoach Mary. So this one right here. And it's a little bit darker than Ghost Town. A little bit of fallout there. And we're just going to go and we're going to kind of tap along and we're going to put that into the outer V, as you know I like to do. And of course, I don't need to mention it, but I do anyways, that with hooded eyes, of course, I like to bring the color up just a little bit higher than the natural crease, because that way you can actually appreciate and you can see the colors that you actually put on your lids. That is just beautiful. I can't, in these two mattes I've already tried, I can't honestly say there's anything I don't like about them. I can't speak about the wearability yet because, of course, this is my first Nomad palette ever. But you guys, I mean, honestly, I love how this is going on. All right. So anyway, so back to talking a little bit about ghost towns, because I just, my father-in-law, he absolutely loved the Old West movies, and my grandfather, he loved Old West movies. And of course, being I'm a little bit older, I remember very old movies of John Wayne and all of those great sort of Wild West movies that came out. I mean, just an incredibly lawless, demoralizing time. but at the same time made for incredible stories with incredible characters. Go in with this shimmer right here. So this is called Calico California, this one right here. And I want to go in, I'm just going to take that on my finger. Ooh, you guys, that is like gorgeous. I'm going to put this in the mid portion of my lid. And as you know, if you have watched my videos before, I love to put shimmers on my lid with my finger, but there are people who do not, so you just do you if you like to apply that with a brush. I know for a fact that these shimmers are quite soft. Whoops, we'll have to get that little fallout there. So for that reason, I'm really doing it very, very lightly because I can see I'm going to get a lot of use out of this palette. So I really want to treasure these colors. We talked a little bit about the history of those. I mean, look at that color, even diffused on my finger. It made me sort of think about where I live, which is Western Canada. So I feel that kind of that whole Wild West, those old ghost towns, those old mining towns of the past, including even the gold rush, is very sort of like relevant to where I live as well, because that was a big part of where I live. And so I started looking up in my own province different ghost towns. And the one that I was reminded of, like I think it's in the top 10 of our ghost towns for our province, was a place called Frank. And if you don't know, I believe, what year was that? 1903. This Frank was a small town. I think it had a total at one time of 600 citizens. But on, what was the date? Was it April the 28th? It was in April 1903 at around 4 o'clock in the morning. This mountain called Turtle Mountain, the whole east side of it, all the limestone collapsed and caused this massive landslide of approximately 110 million tons of limestone came crashing down on the town of Frank. And so all the people that lived in that particular area there, they were killed. And there was, I mean, they have an interpretive center now, and it's quite amazing. But there was some incredibly amazing and heroic stories of some people who actually lived. There was even a coal mine where there was 13 miners trapped when that mountain gave way that day, and they dug themselves out, which is in itself just incredible when you think in the early 1900s. But anyways, that site still exists today. I remember when I was young and we moved here and we were going by, and it's called Frank Slide, and it was incredible to see the rubble and limestone that's still sitting there, knowing that the town is directly underneath 110 million tons of limestone. The other interesting thing about it, in reading about it in order to do this video, was that the local indigenous tribes, which were the Blackfoot and the Kutina, I believe, they often referred to Turtle Mountain as the moving mountain, and they would refuse back in the day to ever set up camps near that Turtle Mountain because they knew that it was a moving mountain. And ironically, then, you know, white men come and then they set up this whole mining operation and town, and they build it directly under Turtle Mountain, which in turn, you know, collapses and kills all those people. So the next color I'm going to take is this one, which is right here, and this is called Gold Rush. And I'm just going to take that and I'm going to just put it on that inside portion here, because I just want to see how it brightens up that section. I just think that is super pretty. Like, wow. I just cannot believe how incredibly easy it was to create this look. I have to say, the shimmers, the foil, you know, in touching them, the foils, they literally feel wet to the fingers. They're incredibly soft and just, they feel absolutely amazing. I'm going to take some of that ghost town that I had in my crease, that sage green, and I'm just going to put it on the lower lash line like so, like this. So yeah, so anyways, I thought that was really cool to kind of just like remember a little of my own sort of, you know, history where I live, because of course I wasn't born in Canada, and but I have been a Canadian for most of my life, and I just kind of love old history like that. I must say I really love old history. Owners of Nomad Cosmetics like named these eyeshadows like that, so it was really cool. I'm going to come on the brown side now, ironically, and I'm going to take that on an angle brush because I want to use it for a little bit of liner. So I'm just going to take that on the top, and I'm just going to line my lids. Yeah, but anyway, so cool, the history really, and those characters. And I just love that they picked those two, you know, very important, iconic females from the West and mentioned those two in this palette, because I think that's really sort of like cool relevance to the actual palette itself, right? Anyways, wow. Now, apparently it's not limited edition. I don't know if that's actually true or not. But if so, then obviously there's not a limited amount of time that you can, you know, that you have to purchase it. So, you know, if you don't have the money at the moment, then by all means, just save up your money and then get it when you can, or maybe it's a Christmas gift. But anyways, loving the look of that. Really, really love that. I absolutely love it. Okay, I'm just going to curl my lashes because I want to like apply mascara just to see the finished look. So I'll be right back. All right, you guys, this palette I absolutely love, as I knew that I would. These colors are absolutely amazing. It was completely effortless to create this beautiful green look. It was really the greens, a couple of the pinks, the indigo blue, and that baby blue down there that really caught my attention. But I know for a fact that these two lines here make beautiful, polished, neutral looks. You could go with only 2 complementary eyeshadows if you wanted to kind of a pretty look, or you could go and you could do like 4 or 5 different colors. I am so impressed with what I created, which was just so quick and so easy. And I really do appreciate the layout of the colors, because then visually I can kind of see the groupings of them. You really just get a sense of what the color story is all about. And I love that. I love the packaging. And again, the lenicular sort of like image that we get with the ghost town, it's just so on point. And, you know, I'd be lying if I didn't say that I was a huge like horror fan, Halloween fan, just completely love it. See the sheriff and the lady here, and then turns into this like complete ghost town when everybody leaves and all the inhabitants go away except the half-dead sheriff. I love this. I do not have any other Nomad Cosmetics palette to compare it to, but for some of those YouTubers that have, they believe, well, some of them that I saw, that this may be the best palette they have put out so far, and I am incredibly excited to continue to further play with this palette. I will definitely do another look on the other side for you, so leave a comment down below if that's something you'd like to see. I'm just incredibly excited about this little foyer into indie brands and Nomad Cosmetics in particular. I hope you enjoyed the video. I look forward to seeing you guys all next week. Take care, and thanks so much for your personal time. I always appreciate it. Have a wonderful, wonderful week.